Hey everyone, Zaibatsu Games here, and welcome back to another video. Now, I think it's about time to look at our loadouts, all the loadouts that I have, and some of my favorite ones, right? I don't have much, at least, in terms of anything higher than bronze, per se. Even though it says 980 items, of course, most of those are lead and iron, anything below that, really. Now it extends to about 3 pages. Mostly because I don't have a single bronze or silver or gold for that matter. It all just starts at Cobalt, and most of these are special editions, to be honest. I rarely have any actual loadouts. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Cobalts. Or 8 rather. So anyway, let's just go through what I have and what I use. So I have favorited most of them, at least. Let's just sort through those, or rather filter through our favorites. There should be, is there not a, I guess there is. I thought it was in filters, I guess not. Show on. So here are my favorites. I think I have more than this though. I guess I just didn't favorite those. So starting off with some of them of course are new. This is the Obsidian Rogue and Vogue one that we got, I think a week ago now. I fortunately got the proxy with the Hawkfear and the Tolan MP. This is the KE21 Power Operative. Now there are 3 good ones in my opinion, at least the KE12, the KE21, and the KE53. I would have preferred the KE12, but unless I didn't get it. But this is also really good, the KE21 Power Operative. I use it a lot. Actually, this is the card I use now when I use proxy. Before that, it used to be this proxy, the KE12 Supreme Operative. Now this is also a really good loadout, but I just use this one now. I don't know, it just looks better, and I'm using this one. Plus, there's not much of a difference between these two. They're both pretty good. If you like SMGs, at least. I am not too much of a fan of shotguns, so I wouldn't know about the Hollands or the Rembrandt, I think it is. So moving on, this is of course, the next one is another Obsidian. This is the one that we got, I think it was during the Containment War event. Actually no, was it? I actually don't remember, but essentially what it was is that if you had already owned Phoenix, you would get an Obsidian for him. If not, you would get a Phoenix. So you would get him as the Merc. But I of course already had Phoenix, so I got the Obsidian card. This isn't a bad card, but it's actually pretty good. But I'd prefer the, what was it, the Keck I think it is. Yeah, the Keck on Phoenix. I don't know, the Hawkfear just doesn't do as much damage as I would like it to for someone like him. But regardless, I still use it because this is really the only loadout I had. I did have the Keck, but it was in gold, and I ended up trading that up for, I don't know, some Cobalt variant of a different Merc. But this is what I use, and it's honestly my favorite one. Plus it looks nice, right? Moving on is this Fletcher. This is the BO32 Standard Operative in the Humble Bundle variant. Now, if you saw my previous video, I opened up a Humble Bundle case that I have been harboring for the past couple months. And I decided to finally open it. And I got the one I actually wanted. You know, which is pretty cool. Of all cards, right? It's a very, very, very slim chance I would have gotten what I wanted. Especially this one. But alas, I did. So I am very happy about that. This is, in my opinion, the best Fletcher aside from the BO33. Yeah, this is the best Fletcher in my opinion. It's got the Blishlock and the Empire 9. Now that's a pretty good combination. It's also got Failsafe, reduces the effect taken from your own explosives by 30%. Springy and Lock on, all really good augments. Now, so I use this one quite a bit, or rather this is the only one I use. I did have this, I did have the BO32 in gold, and the A32, which is the exact same, just with the, I think the what is it called? The Arnold shotgun instead of, or rather, as opposed to the Blishlock. Now, I don't like shotguns, so I didn't use the A32, so I used the BO32, but I had it in gold. I traded that up as well, as I didn't need it anymore because I have this. So this is what I primarily use for Fletcher. Now, this one was the one I primarily used for him. Yeah, looks like there's another one I didn't. There we go. Let's just really quickly add that to our favorites. So, before I got that Cobalt, this is what I exclusively use. The M55 Modern Rifleman comes equipped with the M4A1, the Deagle, or the D50, and the Kukri. This is the one I primarily used. I got this during the Containment War event, obviously. And this is all I used, honestly. Until I got that Cobalt not too long ago, if you saw my trade-in, trade-up video. So, but I think I'll probably still use this, you know, just because the way it looks. I mean, you know, with time, as time passes, we'll get more people joining Dirty Bomb, and more people who don't know or don't have these skins. And they'll ask, like, oh, what skin is that from? You know, people who weren't in the Containment War event. It just kind of increases the value and the rarity of it. But I essentially right now use this Cobalt, if I can refresh this. There we go. This Cobalt right here, the M61 Modern Rifleman, comes with the M4, the Simeon, and the Beckhill Combat Knife. Some pretty good augments. I think better augments than the M55 that I have in Containment War. Plus, I also think this is the 2nd edition loadout, so it's just been improved in every way, or rather augment wise. So this is what I primarily use. I have it in Shard, as you can see, and this is what I use now. This Cobalt Soak, I really like it. I think that was my first trade up as well, so I'm very lucky on that. Moving on, the one I actually not only the primary card that I use, but also the primary merc that I use as well. I almost always have Skyhammer in my loadout. If you find me in some matches, you'll almost likely see Skyhammer in my loadout. So this is my favorite one, as it is my only one, rather. But I think there are some other better ones. I don't know. I think there is, but this is the one I have, and this is the one I'm happy with. The M92 Elite Rifleman in Cobalt, in Shard as well. The M4A1, that's the gun I prefer on Skyhammer as opposed to the BR16 and or the Timic. I think I had this in Cobalt in Timic. Oh, I don't remember. I doubt it. But this is my favorite one, and it's the one I primarily use. It's a really good loadout. You know, it's just all around really good. It comes with the M4, the Smith & Wesson 40, and the Noto Stiletto knife. As for the augments, it has Guardian Angel, Explodiendron, and Drilled. Pretty good. I love it. Really like this one. This Bushwhacker, not the best loadout, in my opinion. The one with the Keck is one of the loadouts with a Keck is the best one, but this one is also really good. It's also the one I really like as well. It's just the SMG9, although it doesn't do a lot of damage, is very accurate. So it's kind of like, what do you want? You know, do you want a gun with low DPS but more accurate, so you'll land more of your shots per se, as opposed to, you know, the Keck, which is a more higher DPS dealing weapon, but in fact is not as accurate. So, you know, it's kind of really had to balance that out. So I really like this one. I think it's a pretty good loadout. I think it might be the best for the SMG9 out of the SMG9 loadouts, really. So whenever I use Bushwhacker, I use this loadout because actually I do have another Bushwhacker with the Keck in Containment War, but I primarily use this one. So yeah. Now, these Rogue and Vogue or Suspect event cards I don't use at all. Actually, none of them I actually like, and most of these mercs I don't even use. I don't use Kira and I don't use Red Eye. As for these fraggers, the K121 I absolutely despise, so I don't use this one at all. I did get something better, but it wasn't the one I wanted at all. The BR16, in my opinion, is better for fragger than the K121. I prefer the M4, as you know, for fragger. But at least it's not the K121. At least I didn't get any repeats. I think I skipped over this. Yeah, I think I did. Did I? I don't remember. So my favorite fragger, the fragger I use mostly, is the M62 Power Rifleman. Wait, I think I redid this. Yeah. But regardless, if I didn't, the M4, the Simeon, and the Stiletto knife for fragger, the best loadout, in my opinion, by far. Maybe the augments aren't the best, but they are still pretty good. It's got Unshakable and Exploded Dendron. That's pretty good. Cool, it's still pretty terrible. Like, I rarely use the mounted MGs. You stay on them too long. If you're off against somewhat decent people, you're gonna die eventually. You're gonna die pretty quickly, actually. If you're against at least somewhat competent people. So the suspect event cases I don't like. The G52 Expert Sniper, I would prefer the P72 Venerable Sniper, which comes with the PDP-70. That's the best loadout in my opinion for AME. Didn't get that. I don't like this very much, but it is better than the K121. I don't use Thunder at all, but if I do, it's probably going to be this one here. I don't use Kira at all, so I honestly wouldn't know the best loadouts for her. I think the best loadouts for her would be the one with the Stark AR. But the Dryce AR is pretty good. It's better than the Grandeur, that's for sure. And of course the Red Eye and the Grandeur, or not the Grandeur, sorry, the Dryce AR. The D52 Excellent Rifleman, but I don't know much about Red Eye as well, or his loadouts, as I don't use him. I have this Stoker, but I don't like. I prefer the the M4 for Stoker as opposed to the Stark AR that he has here. The S95 Modern Rifleman. This is. It's not bad. I'll probably end up like switching between this one and the Cobalt that I have, but I don't really use it. Moving on, this is of course the Humble Bundle cards that if there was a Humble Bundle Dirty Bomb thing a couple months ago, I think if you've paid a minimum of $1, which is pretty good, a minimum of $1, you would get all these cards right here, all the regular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Merc loadout cards, which is pretty good. Some of these aren't good, to be honest. Like this, Like it's got Pineapple Juggler and everything. If you like the Felix, I know a lot of people do, so this is actually a pretty good one. I don't use the Felix, I like the Moa better. But I do use this one whenever I use Facility. This is a pretty good Sawbones, actually. This is actually a really good proxy, the K21 Elite Operative, again the one that I have in Obsidian. I don't like this one at all. Again, it's the K121. I don't use much aura, but I guess a shotgun will be good for her. And the S41 Original Rifleman. I don't know if this is good. It looks pretty good, but I don't use RD as well. But overall, I think in general these are somewhat good loadouts. As some of them are kind of meh, like the Skyhammer and this Fragger. But what do you do? Now, after that, or before that rather, we had the What the Dickens event, which is a pretty fun event. That's what we got, or that's what they introduced the trinkets. Now, I didn't get much, even though the event was really long. I only ended up getting 3 overall. Now, I got the SM81 Power Operative for Sawbones. I don't use Sawbones, but I think this is a pretty good one. Nader, the KE81 Power Operative. I also don't use Nader, so I wouldn't know, but if I were to use Nader, I would prefer using the Krotzny instead of the Hawkfear, because the Hawkfear for some of these mercs just doesn't do enough damage, to justify using them. But they look nice. The skins look pretty good. Friendly, anyway, they look really good, to be honest. All really nice skins. But again, I don't use any of these mercs. The S41. Whenever I have an arty mission, and I end up using Artie. I used this loadout as opposed to the other one, and even though I know they're exactly the same, but I prefer this skin, to be honest. The guns look really nice in this color. It's kind of brownish color, mahogany brown. This is the Alienware loadouts. This was after you got the 2 loadouts for Aura and Skyhammer. You got a chance to get one of the 7 mercs. Now, I unfortunately got Rhino. Even though it is the best Rhino, this is the R93 Power Close Assault, it is still a Rhino. But whenever I have a Rhino mission, this is what I use, because it's the only Rhino loadout I have, because I would never trade in or trade up for a Rhino card. I think it's a useless merc. But that's what I would use if I were to use Rhino. Now, on to the Containment War loadouts. This is one I don't use. I don't use this either. I don't use Red Eye at all. I don't use Sawbones. And if I were to choose, it would be between this and of course the Cobalt that I have for Bushwhacker. This one's actually a really good one. So whenever I'll use Bushwhacker, I'll really choose between this one and the Cobalt. I haven't been using it much though, or rather at all lately. But I think I'm going to start using this one. Just add it to my favorite so I don't forget. But it's really good. The C41 Vanguard Operative comes with the Keck, the M9, which is a pretty good pistol, and the Beck-Hill combat knife. You can't go wrong with the Beck-Hill. Let's go Focus. Reduces flinching when hit by 30%. Lock on. That's pretty good for turret and spares. That's also really good in general for any merc, really. Yeah, overall, really good, really well balanced loadouts for Bushwhacker. Plus, it looks really good. Look at this. The Containment War event skins look really nice. Got some nice colors. These are, of course, the Logitech ones. If you didn't know, they were having like a giveaway, or not like a giveaway, kind of like a little thing. If you sign up, you would get 2 cases. You would get a key to redeem a Logitech case for Aura, and a Logitech case for Skyhammer as well. This is a pretty good one, actually, the M4 one. I actually have been using this one before. I would switch between actually this one and the Cobalt pretty regularly, because this one actually looks pretty good. It's also got blue, but it's got like a funky little Logitech design on it. So I would switch between this one and the Cobalt that I have. Look at that as well. Moving on to the last page. These were originally the first Alienware cases that we got. I think this was honestly back in like July or August, very early on. You would sign up and you would get Alienware cases, or a key to redeem to get an Alienware case for Aura and Skyhammer. Now, I don't use them at all. I don't think I ever used them at any point. I think I might have used this one in one match just to see how the skin looked in game. But overall, I think it's a terrible loadout. I don't like it at all. I don't like any of these. But more loadouts, right? And onto our last 4 cards. These are our final Cobalt cards as well. I have 2 different Phantoms in Cobalt, each with different cards and different weapons as well, different primaries. The first one here is the BL54 Premium Operative. It is the Blisslock, the DE50, and the Katana. This is 2nd generation, so there's a higher chance of me getting a Katana, and I fortunately did get a Katana. It's not the one that I wanted. I didn't get the one I wanted at all, actually. I think there was a different one. I don't remember the exact name of it. But I think it was with a Krotsny. I think it contained a Krotsny. I don't remember, honestly. If you can go back and watch my trade-in, trade-up video, which is where I got these 2 cards. And you can see which one I wanted. And even though I didn't get what I wanted, this is 2nd generation, and it is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. These are pretty good loadouts. So aside from having pretty good guns, and of course a Katana, which is really important, at least for me. I know some people don't care about Katana, but I really do. It's kind of like his thing, and I just like to use a Katana. The augments are really good. Spares increases the maximum number of magazines that can be carried by 1. Again, in general, for any merc, that's pretty good. Quick Slash increases melee attack speed by 30 or 25%, which is really good because if you're a Phantom, like if you're like a Spy Phantom, if you like playing Phantom sneakily, I suppose, you would use your katana. And I like using the katana, so having the attack speed increased while using the katana would be really well. And 30% faster weapon switching. That's really good as well. Moving on to the other Phantom, the CR94 Patriot Operative. Also in Shard, also in Cobalt, also with the katana, so that's really cool. So if I have, like, if I'm feeling for a different weapon, you know, whether I want the Blissstrike or the Crossing, I could just switch because I know that both of these are really good loadouts. This one has 10%, or rather the augment, sorry, the Undercover Mechanic and Bomb Squad. Undercover 10% increase the ability duration, which is really good if you want to just like sneak past or kind of flank around the enemy while using Phantom, and you don't want to be, or if you don't want your cloak to run out in the middle of it, everyone just sees you and just murders you. Mechanic, I mean, I guess that depends on who you are or who you ask, really. But I don't like Mechanic. I'd rather prefer something else, to be honest. Bomb Squad makes enemy deployables such as proximity mines more visible. That's meh. I mean, I'm not blind. I can perfectly see them without it. So even though these two augments aren't the best, this is still a pretty good, honestly, loadout for Phantom. Actually, I should probably favorite these. I prefer this one over the other one though, but just, you know, just to be safe. So, and then I also got the G85 Hurricane Sniper for Amy. Now, if you saw the Arsenal Crate and Special Editions unboxing video, I think I unboxed our first expert case that we got during the event a couple days ago, and fortunately I was not expecting this at all. Got a Cobalt out of it, and even though it's a Amy I'll never use, it's still Cobalt, and you can use that for, I think it's trade-ins. Yeah, so if I want to trade in for a different Cobalt for a different Merc, or maybe another Amy, a better Amy, I could use this one, and I won't really be losing much, as I got this, you know, for free. This expert case was free, and I got a Cobalt out of it, so I'm pretty lucky there. And of course, I think this is one of the first Cobalts that I ever got, and it was for Red Eye, the D41 ADEPT Rifleman. I did use this for a little bit, right around when Red Eye came out. Now, I don't use Red Eye at all now, because I honestly just don't like them. But if I were to use Red Eye, I may choose this one. But then again, I have so many loadouts for Red Eye. I think I have like so many special editions for him as well. But again, I don't like using Red Eye. It's just who I am. I just don't like him. So that's all about all the loadouts that I have and which ones I use primarily. Let's just refresh this so I can really finalize what I use. So these, all the favorited ones are the ones that I actually use. Oh, so I must have gone over this proxy here. Alright, I forgot about this one. So this one, of course, you already know most likely. This is from the Unlock and Load update that happened a couple days ago. Again, I did a video on this if you want to go see that. But you got 2 cases, or you could have gotten 2 cases during the Rogue and Vogue event. The Cobra case, which you could have purchased for 500 cycles, and the Obsidian Cobra case, which you would have had to purchase with real money by getting the Obsidian Vengeance pack, which is $15, and that came with Amy and the Obsidian case. I of course got both, and for this one I got a loadout I really didn't want, the H23 Immaculate Close Assault. I hate shotguns, and I don't like using them for proxy or any merc really. So I think this was a terrible loadout that I got. I don't like it. I'll probably use it just to see, you know, because I might as well use it, right? But I won't seriously use this. If I'm seriously wanting to use a loadout for proxy, I'll most likely use my Containment War event one, or my Obsidian Culprit loadout that I got, which is which again I got really lucky on. I got the K21. But I think the skin looks really nice. Not only for the clothing, but the gun as well. It's got a nice orange like design pattern, kind of like triangleized orange pattern on the shotgun on this Hollands here, which I think looks really nice. So the augments are pretty good because of course the corporate cases, anything after the corporate is 2nd edition loadouts. So it's got 2 pretty good ones. Turrets, mines, and other deployables wreck 30% more quickly, which is really good for her mines. So that, you know, when a merc or when an enemy comes by, they have even less of a chance to run away from the mine and either be killed or severely damaged by it. So that's really good. Lock on. Now, Quick Slash, that's pretty good. Plus she's got the cricket bat. That's really good. Guardian Angel, I have that for, I think, my Cobalt. I have that on my Cobalt Skyhammer. I mean, it works, I guess, but it just... I would have moved out of the way, out of like an airstrike anyways. But, this is not a bad loadout. If you like shotguns, this is actually a pretty good one. But, again, I don't fancy shotguns too much, so... But I will use it from time to time, because I might as well, right? I got it, so I might as well use it. Plus, it just looks really cool. So, I guess that about does it for these loadouts. And just a quick little scan again. These, the ones that are favorited with the yellow star here, are the ones that I primarily use. Let's just make sure we didn't forget anything. No, I doubt it. Yeah, no, so this is... These highlighted ones, my favorites here, are the ones I primarily use when I use these mercs. It looks like I skipped over some still. Looks like I skipped over here Sparks. So this, before we leave, this is the 383 Companion Agent. This is by far the best Sparks. Now, I don't know, I think with the 2nd edition they still didn't change the weapons. I think the 2nd edition only changes the augments that it has. I haven't really looked at Sparks much, but at least in the 1st edition, there was really only one good Sparks, and no one could argue with it. Sparks was one of those mercs that had one good loadout, and that's about it. So it was very frustrating to get the loadout you want, because there were so many of them, but only one of them was good, and that was the 383 Companion Agent. It's got the Empire 9 one, and a lot of the other loadouts don't even have the Empire 9. A lot of them have like secondary weapons as their primary, like the MP400 or the Tolan MP, which is a garbage weapon. By the way, it's not terrible if you have it as a secondary, but as your main primary gun, that's just, you know, how can you really defend yourself there? But this one, of course, comes with the Empire 9, better out of the Empire, or not the Empire, but the Tolan and the MP400. A pretty good pistol and a cricket bat. And it's got some of the best augments. Get up, 30% increase to health given on revive. Look at that. So you don't have to charge this long. Quick charge, 10% increase to round charge rate. And potent packs increase the power of healing abilities by 20%. These augments are just amazing. So this was by far the best Sparks you can get. Not in terms of the weapons you got, but the augments as well. And I got it in special edition. I got this in from the Containment War event, obviously. And really lucky I got this one. Pretty cool. So whenever I use Sparks, I will use this loadout, because there's not a single other loadout that I have or would use, because there's no other loadout I should be using. This is the best. Here it is, hands down. So again, these are all the loadout cards that I primarily use for all my mercs, my Skyhammers, my Phantoms, my Stokers, my Bushwhackers, Fraggers, my Fletchers, my Phoenix, my Proxies, my Stokers, and Sparks and whatnot. So these are all the loadouts. 6, 12, 14, about 14 loadouts I primarily use for all these mercs. And then I got a whole lot more which aren't exactly terrible, but they're just not as good, or I don't prefer them over these. So that probably does it for all of this. So that has been my entire loadout collection. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like. If not, well, there's a button for that too. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.